Picture this. You had just had a night of mind-blowing sex with someone. It was probably the best sex you've ever had. And then you're sitting there. Person you just hooked up with is asleep on the other side of the bed, and you start to realize that you honestly made a really big mistake. But how do you escape? I mean, how do you get out of that moment? How do you get out of that situation? Well, me, I've always been known to be a runner, just not a very good one. This is the one with the Gothic girl. In my early 20s, I was on a online dating bender. I had downloaded basically every app that would hook me up with any girl from Philly to Delaware to New York to Washington. I was on a mission. And that mission was to hook up with as many women as I could until I got over my ex. And it was very successful. I have stories on stories of the entire year and a half that I spent essentially just hooking up with random people that I met online. Some I'm still actually kind of cool with today, and some people I've never seen or spoken to again. However, there was one individual who, to me, just had to be discussed in an episode. And that is the young Gothic girl that I met on Tinder. And how one night with her put all of my unnecessary Samantha Jones type sexual activities kind of come to an abrupt halt. So I had downloaded Tinder for the third time and had decided to give dating another try. Was I really looking to date, or was I really just looking to fool around? Probably the latter, but I was open-minded. I was just getting over my ex. I wasn't really ready to settle down and have another serious relationship, but I did want to get back out there. As much as I love my single friends, I was really getting tired of being the only single friend in the group. So I matched with this girl, we'll call her Ruby, who lived out in Jersey, only about an hour away from me. And we decided to make plans for me to come over her house one night. No expectations, no nothing, just to meet face to face, maybe have some drinks, watch TV, whatever, just become comfortable with one another. Now, I used to be an Uber and ass John. I used to Uber to Jersey, Delaware, everywhere for some pussy. I was known for it. But in this particular instance, I was a little short on cash. So we set up a plan where she was going to pick me up from work and I would just take the bus home from Jersey in the morning. So she picks me up and we just start talking about her day. Now, mind you, we've been talking for like weeks, like on the phone, Skype, all those different types of things. Like I'd met her before, I'd seen her face before. So it was really no surprise when she opened the car door. So we talked about, lives and work and our situations. And that was when she told me what her living situation was. Now, this was before my mind was opened by my wife about different types of dynamics and relationships. I was under the impression that you were either in a serious relationship or you weren't. I was totally vanilla in the whole, open relationship conversation. But Ruby had an open marriage. Her and her husband experimented with different types of things. He allowed her to hook up with women as well as, share him with other women. But I had never heard of that before. And I was a little nervous. I mean, you didn't tell me that you were married or that you had a situation until after I'm already halfway to Jersey in the front seat of your car. So I was a little nervous and a little scared because I said, well, what if it's not like how she says it is? I had already had really bad situations and different situations when guys were involved in a sexual excursion I was having with a woman, like I discussed in a previous episode. So I was terrified. I mean, to me, what was stopping this guy from me walking in the door and killing me or raping me or any of the other things? Like, I didn't know this person. Like, yeah, I mean, I knew who she was in a sexual sense. I knew who she was in a fun, outgoing way. I knew that she had a really serious job. She was very educated, and I knew that she lived a life where she expressed herself using makeup and different articles of clothing, and she lived a very docile Gothic lifestyle. She worked in a very professional setting, but when she wasn't at work, she dressed up in old school Gothic emo outfits. I was not exposed to this type of relationship dynamic, so I was scared. She assured me that he would be at the house along with their son, and while we were having alone time and while we were getting to know each other, him and her son would be in another room. That he would have no interaction with me at all, other than maybe like shaking my hand and meeting me. But other than that, unless I was comfortable with him being present, he would not be in the room. So I kind of relaxed a little bit, took a couple hits of her vape pen, and kind of just let the night start rolling. So we get to Jersey, and she introduces me to her husband. Really nice guy, real nice guy. They have a really beautiful son, like really like a genuine family. Like it wasn't anything creepy. It wasn't Criminal Minds-y. It wasn't SVU-y. It was very safe. So we go into her bedroom and we just, she lets me get comfortable. We cut on a movie. We start talking. We're smoking. She pours me a glass of whiskey. That turkey, that whatever that whiskey is, that has like turkey in the name, yeah. So I had some of that. We were just talking, smoking, watching a movie, getting to know each other, and things were very comfortable. Then the conversation got put onto sex. You know, we had talked a little openly about our sexual preferences as far as what we like and don't like in the bedroom. But the one thing we never talked about was the use of toys. Outside of maybe the occasional bullet at that time in my life, I didn't use a lot of sex toys. A lot of the women that I dated and had sex with also didn't use them. So this was something very new for me. I was never really exposed to it. I'd seen vibrators, I'd seen dildos, I'd seen strap-ons, but I've never actually used one or had one used on me. So she pulls out this vibrator, which was about 10 inches long, vibrated on both sides. Essentially where the person that's using it on you puts it on you, and then the other end kind of hits their spots, and it's supposed to be a good time all around for everybody. I was nervous because I'd never used one before. Like I didn't know what I was gonna experience. I didn't know like if it was gonna hurt. Was it gonna be kind of like no different than putting a dildo in? I didn't know. But she was very like calm and very like sweet and very patient. And we kind of just went at it, and the sex was good. It was good. It was grade A. Like it was not anything at all. Like it was not a negative sexual experience at all. But that did introduce me to toys and the different ways you can use them. And that definitely was eye-opening for me. I had never had that before. I'd never used anything like that. So I naturally didn't know what it was that I was going to feel. But y'all, that shit was amazing. I fell in love. I said, listen, if I could find one of these, I wouldn't need no more bitches. Like, what? But I digress. After a couple of rounds of sex and after a couple of rounds of, just talking, hanging out, fooling around, making out, we both fell asleep. I wake up in the morning, or kind of like early morning, and I came down for my high and for my little buzz. I realized what it was I did. I always had this really proper stance on how I wanted to be recognized in the community, in the dating scene. I wanted to be seen as a person. I wanted to be seen as a woman. I didn't want to be used as a unicorn for someone's sexual fantasies. I didn't want to be used as an experiment for women that were trying to figure their shit out. I stood my ground on that for years. And that morning when I opened my eyes and I looked around the room, I realized that I had done the one thing I said I would never do. And that was I settled for a good time with someone and I went against my own beliefs. At that point in time, I looked at what I just did as cheating. I looked at what she did with me as cheating. My mind wasn't as open. I didn't have, I wasn't as educated in different lifestyles and relationships as I am today. So I thought it was cheating. And I'm looking around the room and I'm just acknowledging what it is that had happened. And I suddenly just got hit with this sudden, like, nauseating feeling in the pit of my stomach. Like, what am I doing? Like, yeah, hooking up with random beautiful women and having a good time and being that single fun friend is great. And I do not take back my early 20s for anything in the world because I had a ball. But I didn't want that anymore. I wanted to be the person who had the spouse and the kids. I wanted to be that person who had those things. I didn't want to be the fun time girl that you swipe right on and take back to your bedroom at night and then leave her on the curb for an Uber in the morning. I was tired of it. It was that moment when I genuinely realized, like, I want more. I deserve more. I deserve to be taken seriously. I deserve to have a person who wants to be with me for me, and not just because I'm a good time in bed, not just because I'm exotic and different, but I'm a person. And before Ruby even got up, I got dressed, I got myself together. I had cashed out her $20 and said it was for the gas for coming to get me. I left her a note on her dresser basically saying that I had an amazing time with her, but I didn't think it was a good idea for us to do this again. And I walked my happy ass to the bus. And it was the first time I'd ever taken public transportation from Jersey home. Usually it's an Uber or someone drove me. And it was a long ride. And it was something, and I had a lot of thinking to do and a lot of self-reflection. And that was really the conclusion that I came to. That was the eye-opening moment when I stopped being the fun time girl. That was the day, sitting on that bus from Jersey to Philly, I learned that I deserved more. And I knew that I had to change how I presented myself to the world if I ever wanted to be taken seriously. So that women would stop using me as a good time and someone would actually love me and give me that type of relationship that I'd always wanted, but the one I didn't think I deserved. That was that eye-opening moment. That was the moment when I stopped being the fun turn-up queen and I really realized, like, I want to be taken seriously as a partner for somebody. And I knew things had to change. And as much as I would love to sit here and say that I completely and utterly made the best decisions after this moment, after that epiphany that I had, did I jump right into being a more serious woman and going after the more serious type of females? No. There were still a lot of mistakes to be made, and I made them. And maybe I didn't make the best decision after that. Maybe the next person I got entangled with wasn't the best choice for me. Maybe it took me a while. Maybe it took me 7 years from the day I came out till I met my wife to realize what it is that I truly deserved in a relationship. Maybe it took me that 6-7 years to discover my worth in being with a person and what I bring to the table. Maybe it took me all that time because I needed to have the experiences that I had. Maybe I needed to kiss a bunch of frogs before I found my princess. I guess I had to go through the rubble and the trash to find the prize. Maybe I just needed to have these moments so that I knew what it is that I did and didn't want out of a relationship. Not to say that the people that I had involved myself with or messed around with were just stepping stones on my road to something better, but to me, you can't know what it is you deserve until you've experienced the stuff that you don't. And yeah, I was in love before I met my wife. Yes, I fell in love before I met her. And yes, I loved hard and I loved without question. But I didn't love me. And therefore, the people that loved me and may like me and might even still have feelings for me today, I wasn't me when I was with them. I was this cardboard cutout of what I thought a lesbian Samantha Jones would be like, not realizing that I wasn't built for that type of life. I was built to be like a Charlotte and essentially find real happiness and love in a family. And I thought for years I was going to be that cool single girl that just had fun and was successful. And it wasn't until that moment in Jersey, in that very red painted room, drinking out of skull chalices and listening to soft, heavy metal music, that I realized that I deserve better. And it may have taken me a little while after that epiphany to meet my wife, and that leaves for a lot more stories to come. But in that moment, I realized that's what I wanted. I wanted more. I deserved more. And it may have taken me a couple of more negative trips, a lot of more negative experiences, and a lot of more negative women and men to realize what it is that I really deserved. But that one time with the Gothic girl opened my eyes to the type of romance and love that I deserved. But until next time, guys, this was The One With. I'll see you guys next week.